Once you've made a decision to seek out a therapist or to go to therapy, oftentimes people get stuck knowing how to find a therapist, how to get connected with the right kind of therapist. This is something that I dealt with when I finally made the decision that I was going to go to therapy and I was going to work on some of my unprocessed trauma and work through the grief that I had going on. I didn't really know where to start. Thankfully, I had a couple of mentors and people who were more experienced that shared some insight with me in knowing how to find and connect with my first people that I worked with. I've actually worked with a number of different grief counselors and therapists, and one of the things that I learned is that there are lots of different specialties when it comes to therapists. You have some people that really specialize in working with children. Other people specialize in marriage counseling. Some people specialize in trauma. And so if you're dealing with unprocessed trauma, I would recommend finding somebody that specializes in trauma work and finding somebody that understands and uses EMDR or cognitive behavioral therapy. Those are a couple of modalities or types of therapy, tools that therapists have at their disposal to be able to help you with reframing your thoughts, processing trauma, and they're very effective at helping you process through the trauma without necessarily having to dig into every single little detail. EMDR is actually one of the fastest ways to go through and process trauma. There are some other methods as well, and I'm happy to talk with people individually that may want to learn more about that. But as you're looking for a therapist, usually where I recommend that people start is talk to a trusted mentor, a coach, a pastor, somebody in your life that has a little bit more maturity or has a network of people that they have access to, and ask that person if they have anybody that they would recommend that you work with. Oftentimes, pastors, coaches, priests, business owners, community leaders, they tend to have a pulse on who the different people are. They tend to get good feedback from others who have used those people, and so they can give you good recommendations. I'm always happy to recommend therapists or counselors or coaches that I've worked with or that are in my network and community. One thing to keep in mind for therapy specifically, most therapists are licensed in specific states. Actually, I think all therapists are licensed only for specific states. And so, at least within the United States, a therapist can only practice in a state where they're licensed. Coaches, consultants, counselors, they can practice across any state, but if you really want somebody who's going to help you with therapy, then you're going to have to look within your state to find that. The second place that I recommend, if you are uncomfortable going to somebody, or maybe you don't have somebody in your life that you can go to and ask for a recommendation, is going to psychologytoday.com. And there's a great search bar on Psychology Today where you can search by zip code. And I would encourage you, one of the great things that actually came out of COVID, there's a lot of not great things that came out of COVID, but one of the great things that came out is that a lot of therapists switched to being able to do telehealth and virtual sessions. So if you can find somebody where you can go for in-person therapy, that's awesome. But maybe you're in an area where you can't find somebody close by. Don't limit yourself to a very small geography. It's better to find a good therapist that you're comfortable working with and maybe expanding your search parameters a little bit, going a little bit further outside. Better to do the telehealth, in my opinion, than to meet with somebody that's close by that you can't connect with as well. A couple of things that make for a good therapist. Number one is they make you feel safe. They establish and keep trust. Any good therapist should be able to establish that trust boundary with you. They're always going to keep trust and confidence. They're bound by HIPAA, and so they have to maintain that confidence of whatever is happening in your therapy sessions. Good therapists are going to be skilled to help you in the area that you need help. So I talked about having some of those different tools, modalities, what their specialty is. And Psychology Today will actually allow you to be able to do some different filters. You can look at people's profiles and see what they say they specialize in. Make sure that it matches up with what you need. And then really any ethical therapist is going to support your values and beliefs. And if you can find somebody that aligns with your values and beliefs, awesome. But if you can't, therapists are professionals and they're going to support your faith, your values, your beliefs, knowing that that's a core part of who you are. A lot of people get really caught up on thinking, I need to find a Christian therapist, or I need to find somebody that aligns with my particular value system. And while that can be good and helpful, I would encourage you not to get too focused on that, because a good ethical therapist is going to encourage your value system and utilize that even if they might not share the same beliefs. And then, lastly, I would just say, schedule a couple of intakes, schedule a couple of sessions. You don't have to pick just one therapist to have a conversation with in the beginning. Most therapists will offer some kind of an intake, or some therapists will offer, a free 20-minute consultation just to see how the communication goes, find out, are you comfortable with them? Are they comfortable working with you? Do your communication styles match? It's okay if you need to talk to 2 or 3 different people to be able to find the person that you feel really comfortable with. And one of my gauges that I give to people is, if you find that you're just opening up easily, conversation flows smoothly, then that's probably a sign that this is a good person for you to be communicating with. If you find that it's really difficult talking to this person, it feels uncomfortable, move on, find somebody else. There's not a therapist that I know or have worked with that would feel bad about you saying, this isn't a good fit for me. And they would actually prefer that, to be honest. So those are just a couple of things. If you're looking for a therapist, you don't know how to get started, couple of tips for you. If you need more help, feel free to comment on this video. Ask me any questions. If you want some more one-on-one and you want to just do a 20-minute phone call or a 15-minute strategy session, I'm happy to hop on with you and help. It's a big passion of mine to help people deal with their trauma, break free from burnout, find balance, and reclaim control in their lives so that they can thrive personally and professionally. Good luck on looking for a therapist, and hope to see you guys again soon.